Okay, question now for Dr. Craig. It's a logical fallacy to assert that lack of evidence for one theory constitutes empirical evidence for a contradicting hypothesis. Simply arguing that macroevolutionary change is too complex and too extraordinarily improbable to occur through natural selection does not prove the viability of intelligent design. What clear empirical scientific evidence obtained from peer-reviewed experiments is there for intelligent design?
I'm really glad for this question because it's important to reiterate that I did not argue tonight that intelligent design is true. I said it's viable. And in the case of these mechanisms, if the mechanisms have not been demonstrated to have the efficacy to produce this kind of biological complexity in this amount of time, then it does seem to me that ID is at least viable. It deserves a place at the table, and that's all I was arguing for. Now, in terms of arguing for its truth, it is again a caricature of these ID theorists like Dembski and Behe to say that they argue, well, because random mutation and natural selection don't work, therefore intelligent design is true. That's not the way they argue. Remember, Dembski gives two very specific criteria for a design inference. Extremely high in probability and an independently given pattern. And if something exhibits those two characteristics, then a design inference is justified. So this is not an appeal to fallacious either-or reasoning or ignorance. This is a principled inference based upon defended criteria. So to deny the inference, you've got to either attack the criteria and show why they're incorrect, or else you've got to show that biological systems don't meet the criteria. But let's have none of this claim that we're dealing here with an argument for an ignorance or God of the gaps. That simply ignores the way in which these ID theorists frame their arguments.